परिजना सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्त काञ्चना गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा and let's share. Hare Krishna. Anybody can read from here each paragraph. Yes.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Krishnamurti Prabhu.
Pranams Mataji. I will read Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Desires to expand the mind by perfecting mystic yoga, to merge into the existence of Brahman, or to attain whimsical material prosperity are all included within the category of greed, laulya. All attempts to acquire such material benefits are so-called spiritual advancement or impediments on the path of Krishna consciousness. Shall I
Yes.
stop, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Kripamai Mataji, Kripamai Sita Mataji, you can read the next paragraph.
Mataji, shall we read Mataji now? Modern warfare waged between capitalists and communists is due to their avoiding the advice of Srila Rupa Goswami regarding Atyahara. Modern capitalists accumulate more wealth than necessary, and the communists, envious of their prosperity, want to nationalize all wealth and property. Unfortunately, the communists do not know how to solve the problem of wealth and its distribution. The Krishna conscious ideology states that all wealth belongs to Krishna. Thus, unless all wealth comes under the administration of Krishna, there can be no solution to the economic problem of mankind. Nothing can be solved by placing wealth in the hands of the communists or the capitalists. If $100 bill is there lying on the street, someone may pick it up and then put it in his pocket. Such a man is not honest. Another man may see the money and decide to let it remain there, thinking that he should not touch another's property. Although the second man does not steal the money for his own purpose, he is unaware of its proper use. The third man who sees a $100 bill may pick it up, find the man who lost it, and deliver it to him. This man does not steal the money to expend for himself, nor does he neglect it and let it lie in the street. By taking it and delivering it to the man who has lost it, this man is both honest and wise. Shall we stop, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, Uma Mataji, you can read the next paragraph.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavad Pranams. Simply transferring wealth from capitalists to communists cannot solve the problem of modern politics, for it has been demonstrated that when a communist gets money, he uses it for his own sense gratification. The wealth of the world actually belongs to Krishna, and every living entity, man and animal, has the birthright to use God's property for his maintenance. When one takes more than this, his maintenance requires, be he a capitalist or a communist, he is a thief, and as such, he is liable to be punished by the laws of nature. Shall I continue, Mataji?
Thank you, Mataji.
Okay, then.
So, who is a capitalist and who is a communist? Right? That's what it is all about. So, who is a capitalist? Who is a communist? What you can understand from this paragraph which we read? Hare Krishna, I'm audible.
Communist is non-devotee, I
Yes,
think.
Mataji.
He is
Sorry?
selfish. Communist is non-devotee. He is very selfish. He does it only for himself.
Yeah, what about the capitalist? Is he a devotee?
I don't think so, Mataji. Even
Yeah,
he is.
we are not talking about devotees here. We are talking in general.
Okay,
Who
okay.
is a communist and who is a capitalist? So, what does a communist does and what does capitalist does?
Capitalists are rich people and they want the Antihara. They're collecting more money than even like that, Mataji.
Yeah. Okay. So, what is communist in that way?
They misuse the money. They will keep it for themselves only.
Yeah. So, anyone can give me an example of how we can explain capitalist and communist?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Maybe Mataji, capitalism is in India, communism is in China. So we are not supposed to say anything as my own in China. Whereas in India, we can say that any property we have purchased is of mine, that is of mine. The difference is there like that, as per my knowledge goes, Mataji.
Yeah. Okay. So, you're almost nearby. So, basically, a capitalist, like in India, you can own a shop and you can price it accordingly. There may be some, the government will be there in that, but it won't, what you tell, it won't interfere much in your things. So, whatever you are getting, all the benefit is for yourself. And whoever, suppose if someone has a factory or some corporate, some of you may be in corporate world. So, when you're working in a corporate world, whoever is the CEO, everything. So everything, whatever accumulation is there, it comes to him. Whoever the labor is working under him, how much ever they are getting the profit, they are keeping the highest percent of profit to themselves. They are not giving it to the laborers, right? So you can see that in the form of capitalist. So only 1/100 part is been given to the laborers. So everything is accumulated for themselves. So one part of the capitalist. Whereas communist, what they do, they want whoever has the wealth or any property, it should be nationalized. It should be, it will not be in their thing. If you have owned it, you will not be owning the property. It will be owned by the government, and all the wealth and property what you have done the hard work will be used by them in that. So in both the ways, right, the problem of wealth and distribution is not happening here. So in both the cases, what happens? Atyahara. For example, uh, if somebody is poor enough and they think that we should give the money which somebody has very hardly earned and given off in the method of communist, so the person who is receiving will receive that much and he will be not doing any work at all, right? And he will become lazy in that case. So 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 the communism part also will not help over there. And so this capitalist and the communist, whatever method they are using, will not help in uh, distribution of the wealth. And here, yeah, Rupa Goswami is mentioning that it is it is about Atyahar. So yeah, Rekha Mataji, you wanted to tell something? Shobha Mataji?
No,
Hare Krishna
Mataji,
Mataji, raised to read.
just rise. Yes, Mataji, same here.
Okay. So anything you want to add, Mataji?
Nothing, Mataji, perfect.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Mataji, in capitalists also, and capitalists were accumulating the funds with them in the capitalist, and then communist in the capitalist position as a government. That is making atyar. So both are doing the same.
Yeah, in one way, both are into Atyahar.
Both are in same platform.
Yeah. So now here this comes under Atyahar. And here, what is Prabhupada mentioning? That if they understand that all the wealth belongs to Krishna. So, unless it is under the administration of belonging to Krishna, there can be no solution to this economic problem of mankind. And whether it is in the hand of communist or capitalist, it cannot be solved here. So, what example? Why does Prabhupada gives this example of this $100 bill? What does this explain to us? Yes, Uma Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, this $100 bill example, why do you think Prabhupada is given here? So, what do we understand from this example? That you will find.
Mataji, there are three categories of people in the society,
Hmm,
and in that we can finally one who is the last person is no, he is so sincere and he is so devoted. So he will only think that we must not get the others' money, and then it is to be handed over to the one who has lost. So that is thing is that is he is surrender, he is a devotee style.
okay. So, thinking that the wealth belongs to Krishna. So, if I keep it for myself, then I will be considered a cheater, right? Or a thief. So Prabhupada is mentioning that here it is considered as thief. So any other thing anyone wants to share?
That money should be utilized in the service of the Lord.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, if you find money and if you don't know whom it belongs to, what you will do with that then?
In our childhood days, my elders, my mom used to say, we have to put this in the temple hundi. Whatever we buy, whatever we do not know, if in that case, that has to go to God.
Okay.
If we do not use in Krishna's service, Mataji, it will be treated as stealing the money of Krishna.
Yeah. So that is the exact point what here Prabhupada wants to show us through this example of $100 bill. So if it is not ours, in the first case we saw that the man is it was on lying on the street, so I just took it. So it is my money. I saw it, so I took it. Whereas in the second person is what is he doing? He is like it does not belong to me, so I am not going to uh he acts as if he is not aware of that, right? So and as Mataji mentioned that if we don't know whom this money belongs to, we should not steal the money to spend for ourselves or even not neglect it and keep it back in the street itself or lie down there itself, but we need to go and put it in the undi so that it reaches the proper person or whatever the money it will be utilized in the service of the Lord. Yeah. So this is the point being raised here to understand, make us understand that of regarding Atyahara. So even in earlier paragraphs in the first part where we read about how uh, that example where Prabhupada gives a sack of rice has been there. So the birds comes, the animals comes, they will eat how much ever is required and they will go. Whereas a man comes, he'll take the entire bag of rice. So considering that Atyahara is happening. So what we understand here, the animals, the birds, they know what is their quota, how much I should be taking, or how much what is been given for me, they'll only take that much. For example, for a tiger, it has to eat only the flesh. So it will not go and eat the sugar cane or the grass or anything as such. It will only eat the flesh of the animal. So similarly for the elephant. So whatever is according to their body of the animal or the bird, whatever is their quota, they will take only that. They will not go to try to exploit the other's quota. Whereas, so that is why they don't have that karma also. That karma concept of whatever is the activities they perform, they don't get that, right? But whereas for two-legged animal like the human beings, what they try to do instead of not only acquiring their quota, they try to go and exploit the others quota. So that is where the problem starts of acquiring other things. So if we are just being in our own quota, whatever is been provided according to our own karma or whatever, because for there is a proverb, right, that the Lord has provided enough for each of us our needs, but not for one man's greed. So usually here we see the materialistic people, they are only trying to exploit. So if if we try to understand that it is Krishna's property and whatever Krishna has given me, I'll try to utilize only that much, right? And then there is no exploitation happening. And what are the modern aged human beings are doing when the intelligence is been given for human beings for what? To know about the Lord, right? To know to know more how to what is his relationship with the Lord. So all about Krishna conscious. But what is he utilizing it for? Acquiring more and more materialist things and only accumulating that. And there also again, if he is accumulating whatever is coming to him, it's fine. But if he goes to an extent of exploiting others, then that result in uh, creating a society with there is no happiness, there is no peace, there will be always fights going on, right? So why this is happening? Because of encroaching others' property. So so then there is envious, then there is greedy is also mentioned. So all this comes when there is atyahara, automatically that's a cycle over there. The people become envious, they become greedy, there is unhealthy comparisons. So we have seen the examples in case of Hiranyakashipu. In the modern times, we can see the example of Hitler, right? Alexander. So all are into acquiring things. So what happens? Usually there will be enmity, hatred. So all this leads to those type of society. So Prabhupada goes to one more point over here that simply transferring the wealth from capitalist to communist will not solve the problem of modern politics. Because even if the wealth from the capitalist, if it is to be given, then he will also use it for his own sense gratification. So, so when so the basic understanding here is we have to be under our own quota. If he is not under his own quota, then he is considered as a thief and he will be punished by the laws of nature. So, so that's what we saw uh, in these two paragraphs. And coming back to the laulyam. So, how this atyahara leading to greed and the laulyam part. So, here Prabhupada has mentioned about studied about these three types of people, Muktikamis and Muktikamis and Siddhikamis, who has a desire. What type of desire it is? It is not a simple desire. This is unlimited desire. So, so if desires are limited and like we have a small house or some small things, then it is fine. We work on the goal of our life. What is that? It is to go back to the Godhead. But why? And here, what is the greed of all this Muktikamis? They are having a desire which is uh, unlimited, which cannot be fulfilled at all. Like it does not get stopped at all at one point. It keeps on coming. So what is this for? Again, it is for the sense gratification, and in another side, exploiting the other living being. So this three category of people are always anxious to fulfill their unlimited desires. Uh, and here, uh, what is Prabhupada mentioning about them? That one among them is Siddhikamis, that he wants to merge into the existence of Brahman. So other than yeah, all these three, when their desire is unlimited, they all come in the category of laulyam. So that is the sixth one, where we are mentioning the sixth category of greed. So all are what are their attempts? So Siddhikama is actually desiring to perfect his life by mystic yoga practice. But there also it is only to acquire material benefits, not for some spiritual advancement. So Srila Prabhupada is trying to make us understand that. So this type of greed for material benefits is also an impediment on the path of Krishna consciousness. Uh, Interestingly, in one of the verses, uh, Chaitanya Charitamrita, I think 1 minute, just check. Yeah, yeah, I opened it. Yeah. I'll just share it. You're able to see this verse?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, Shobha Mataji, you can recite this?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam,
Krishna
Mataji.
Bhakti Rasa Bhavita Madhihi Kriyata Yadhi Kuto Abhilapyate Tatra Laulyam Api Mulyam Ekalam Janma Kroti Sukrutai Na Labhyate. Synonyms and translation by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Should I read the translation or synonyms, Mataji?
It's translation, Mataji.
Translation. Pure devotional service and Krishna consciousness cannot be had even by pious activity in hundreds and thousands of lives. It can be attained only by paying one price, that is, intense greed to obtain it. If it is available somewhere, one must purchase it without delay.
Yeah,
Purport.
yeah, you can
The
read it, Mataji.
previous two verses are included in the Padyavali, verse 13 and 14, an anthology compiled by the Sri Rupaka Goswami. Verse 69 refers to devotional service in faith, and verse 70 refers to devotional service rendered out of intense greed. The first is devotional service rendered in accordance with the regulative principles, and the second refers to spontaneous loving service of the Lord without extraneous endeavor. Henceforth, the basic principle underlying the talk between Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the Ramananda Raya will be spontaneous loving service to the Lord. The regulative principles according to the injunctions of the Shastras are necessary insofar as one's original dormant Krishna consciousness is not spontaneously awakened. An example of spontaneous action is the flowing of river into the ocean. Nothing can stop this flow of water. Similarly, when one's dormant Krishna consciousness is awakened, it spontaneously flows to the lotus feet of Krishna without impediment. Whatever will be spoken henceforth by Ramanandaraya based on spontaneous love will be agreeable to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and the Lord will ask him more and more about this subject. Haribol Dandavat Pranam Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. So here, yeah, Tatra Laulyam Api Mulyam Ekalam. So Laulyam Api Labhyate. So what is here been trying to tell is, so we were discussing about Laulyam, that is greed for material desires is should not we should not have such greed for material desires. Whereas here comes the contrast for desire for uh yeah so desire for the spiritual upliftment or devotional practices. So how much we should be having that laulyam, that greed should be there for performing devotional practices. So basically, what is a fundamental thing, if you ask? What do you think? What is the most fundamental thing we require for devotional practices, or something like important practice for advancing in spiritual life?
Service.
Yeah. Desire.
Desire Mataji.
Yeah, desire and faith. Okay. So we hear that Prabhupada mentioning about chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, then service, then that devotee association. So basically, here is when we are talking about Laulyam, it is the first thing which comes is here is our desire, our desire to advance in spiritual life becomes the most important condition, because upon which our advancement will be built. So here, like, uh, now each person's devotion and sincerity and that sincere desire to serve the supreme personality of Godhead is the only qualification. So here also, I don't remember the verse in Bhagavatam. Maybe it is in the fifth canto, I suppose. I don't remember. There also, Rupa Goswami is mentioning about the Laulyam part. The Laulyam Ekam Moolyam. Somewhere it comes in fifth canto. Laulyam Ekam Moolyam. I remember that verse like that. So, uh, maybe I can share with you later. So, there also, what is Rupa Goswami trying to help us? He's trying to tell us that the price for achieving the Lord's favor is only by our sincere eagerness to have it. So, like, uh, like when devotees or a person who has come into Krishna conscious newly, they will seriously take to spiritual life. They begin a process of, uh, in the beginning, what happens? We are always in engaging in some material activities. So when we first come to Krishna conscious, what we do, we we start a process of disengaging ourselves from all these material activities which is not required. So some of which we have been performing for so many of our lifetimes, and that, like, that has become an habit. So we start breaking that bad habits which we may had for years. So there is a transformation over there. We have become a new person, and we have come into a level of disciplinely following our lifestyle, self control, everything. So, how is this possible? Because of our sincerity. So, somehow or other, we had the desire and we sincerely wanted Krishna consciousness above all other things, right? So, so this greed is our lifeline for all of us to still be in Krishna consciousness and also continue to be in Krishna consciousness. So, this is what is here, uh, the conversation between Ramanand Rai and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that greed, and here this greed you can consider as transcendental greed. So, so this greed is something like sufficient level of intensity should be there. Otherwise, what happens? Uh, at one point of time, we tend to lose that interest in Krishna consciousness, right? When you newly have come to Krishna consciousness, how was your intense desire to know and read from Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita or Chaitanya Charitamrita or whichever book of Prabhupada? How much eagerness was there to read the book or hear the lectures, right? Or even chant the holy name, and how much disciplined we were to get up early in the morning and do. Most of you might have still be doing it, but what is that intensity, what you had it in the beginning and what is it now? As time goes, we have known this, so it becomes sometimes takes a back seat. So for that, what is required is this greed, that excessive eagerness, or that excessive eagerness to serve the Lord, uh, and make him happy. That eagerness and that is required here for uh, for us to progress very well in the spiritual path, and then to enter into the uh, Lord's abode. So otherwise, you can think there is no calculation to get that uh, ticket, right, by which you can enter the kingdom. So the only price is this laulyam lalasmai. So the desire and the greatest eagerness to do or practice Krishna consciousness. So you can also think about that, like where I am, that eagerness is still there with me, or if it is not there, what I can do. So we can work on that, right? It applies for myself too, because when I was just thinking about this, when I was reading this, the paragraphs, and coincidentally I was hearing a lecture, and there also, again, based on this verse of Chaitanya Charitamrita, the Laulyam part comes. So that was how I was able to connect it. So now our eagerness is only going to help us be with Krishna and get to his abode. So we may have a lot of excuses, but that is not going to help us. What is going to help us is our sincerity and our eagerness to know more about Krishna and our relationship with Krishna. So that is all about this Laulyam part. Anything you want to add up? I'll
Hare
just
Krishna Mataji, to develop our eagerness to serve and develop in bhakti, it can be got only with the association of devotees, right, Mataji?
yeah.
Individually, we can't have that.
Association of devotees means it need not be you will go and meet them in the temple. It is not physical thing. It is the uh, emotions which you share with them, where regarding with Krishna conscious topics, that how and like if two people are sitting and discussing, suppose now we are sitting and discussing this, and you are trying to understand what we are discussing, and what is the mood of the speaker, what is he or she is trying to share it with. So when we try to understand that, that is how the association happens. So yeah, this speaker is telling about this, so I should like to go within this mood. So association is actually the emotional uh, feelings or the relationship you make it. So it need not be always physically meeting the devotees. So so you can always, yeah, when you meet them personally, yeah, there is always a better emotional exchanges. I agree with that. But if it is not possible, yes, you can always call them or you can speak them uh, online through video calls, or always attending through the uh, hearing process. So we have seen that uh, how Vani is more important, right, than Vapu. So the most of Prabhupada's disciples, they have never met Prabhupada, or they have never seen them, or even if they have seen him, it is only very, very few times or one or two times. But how they have developed their Krishna consciousness, or how is their spiritual practices, because of the instruction given by the Guru, they are following it very strictly. And being just by hearing what Prabhupada has told, they are just trying to follow that. So association need not be always physical. It is always the emotional exchanges been taken care in the association. Whenever you want association, it should be always emotional exchanges. What is the Guru trying to tell us, or what Srila Prabhupada is trying to tell us through his books? So most of the time when we read Srila Prabhupada's books, he is emphasizing on the fact that we are the souls and this human life is very rare. So please use it in devotional practices. He is trying to stress this in most of his books. If you go through his books, he's trying to stress this very strongly, and it is the need of the hour, and it is what you call as emergency situation that you please take to Krishna conscious. So he's been trying to stress that in all his books. Yeah, that's about association, Mataji. Hope that helps.
Thank you.
Hope any other thing anyone wants to share or add up on this topic what we are discussing? Just I think that
Hare Krishna
comes.
Mataji.
Yes,
Pranams.
Mata.
Just want to
Done.
add. Only when we detach Mataji, that attachment to Krishna increases, Mataji. When we detach from the family and I'm not externally, but internally, we should be thinking of the Lord. Only then that extreme greed can develop, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Yes, thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Mataji, as I heard in one lecture of Nitai Savini Mataji, she was saying every Ekadashi she was introspecting herself. Like, so we can get to know what we are doing wrong, or even every night before we sleep. Also, we could try to remember what we did wrong in the day or what we did for the Lord in a day. So we can improve. Where can we improve, or where can we do more and more? So that type, then we can engage ourselves more and more in a Lord's activity. Hari Bol Mataji.
Yeah. So yeah. So this purport, and it's little big. So we have time 250. So anyone can read this quickly. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Little scroll, Mataji.
Yeah, we can read. We
Okay.
can read the.
Translation only. Okay. One
No,
cannot.
we
One
can
cannot.
read the purport directly, Mataji.
Okay.
Because
Translation. Okay,
yeah.
okay, Mataji. In a prayer to Krishna expressing her feelings, Srimati Kunti Devi called him Akinchana Gochara. Little font increase. Wait, Mataji. Okay. Kunti Devi called him Akinchana Gochara. The prefix ya means not and Kinchana, something of this material world. One may be very proud of his prestigious position, material wealth, beauty, education, and so on. But although these are certainly good qualifications in material dealings, they are not necessary for achieving friendship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One who possesses all these material qualities is expected to become a devotee. And when he actually does, the qualities are properly utilized. Those who are puffed up by a high birth, wealth, education, and personal beauty, Janmaishwarya Shruti Sri, unfortunately do not care for developing Krishna consciousness, nor does the Supreme Personality of Godhead care about all these material qualifications. The Supreme Lord is achieved by devotion. Bhaktya mam abhijanati. One's devotion and sincere desire to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead are the only qualifications. Rupa Goswami has also said that the price for achieving God's favor is simply one's sincere eagerness to have it. Laulyam ekam mulyam. In the Chaitanya Bhagavata, it is said, कोलावेच सेवा केरा देखा भाग्य सीमा ब्रह्म शिव कंदे यार देखिया महिमा दाने जाने पांडित्य कृष्ण नाही पाई केवल बकीरा वास चैतन्य गोशानी behold the great fortune of the devotee Kolavecha
Kollavecha.
sorry Mataji, Kollavecha, Lord Brahma and Shiva shed tears upon seeing his greatness. One cannot attain Lord Krishna by any amount of wealth, followers, or learning. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is controlled only by pure devotion. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had a very sincere devotee whose name was Kovalecha Sridhara and whose only business was to sell pots made of the skin of banana trees. Whatever income he had, he used 50% for the worship of Mother Ganges, and with the other 50% he provided for his necessities. On the whole, he was so very poor that he lived in a cottage that had a broken roof with many holes in it. He could not afford brass utensils and therefore he drank water from the iron pot. Nevertheless, he was a great devotee of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is a typical example of how a poor man with no material possession can become a most exalted devotee of the Lord. The conclusion is that one cannot attain shelter at the lotus feet of Lord Krishna Sri Chaitanya Goswami through material opulence. That shelter is attainable only by pure devotional service. अन्याभिलाषिता शून्यं ज्ञानकर्मादि अनावृतम् आनुकूल्येन कृष्णानु शीलनं भक्तिरुत्तम
Sheelanam Bhaktiruttamam.
शीलनं uttama. Sorry. One should render transcendental loving service to the Supreme Lord Krishna favorably and without desire for material profit or gain through fruitive activities or philosophical speculation. That is called pure devotional service. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So here we see Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami has mentioned about the example of Kollavecha Sridhar, where that eagerness it is mentioned even in Chaitanya Charitamrita, where he is eagerly waiting for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to come and argue with him to take the banana leaf or the bananas, right? So he is eagerly waiting for the Lord to come. Even at that moment, he may not be knowing the Lord, but he is attracted to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and he is eagerly waiting to for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to come and argue with him and take whatever he has been selling over there. So one example of Sridhar is been given here, that how uh, that sincerity and that desire is been shown by Sridhar. And another point here, it is mentioned that the Lord cannot be attained by any amount of wealth, followers, or the our higher learnings, right? If we become a PhD or anything, we cannot attain the Lord. So the Lord is only attained by pure devotion. So ending with this, so only the desire to earn Lord's love is not through any profit, material profit, or any through fruitive activities or philosophical speculation. So what is that desire or the service? It should be only to serve him, only to please him. Anyabhilishita shunyam Sheelanam Bhaktir Uttamam. So this is about the pure devotional service and the eagerness to serve, the laulyam, the greed, the transcendental greed. So in our next session, we will learn about how by avoiding all these six right? We learnt about all the 6. Atyahara prayasascha prajalpo niyamagraha janasangascha laulyam. So how by avoiding this 6, how there can be, how it benefits the society. That all about that we will know in the next session. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarubhesha kripa sindhubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta Koti Vaishnav ki jai.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Dandavad.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Dandavat pranams.
Dandavat pranam.